What is up, play-tested subscribers? Corey here, and today we're actually just going to be talking and celebrating the fact that we hit 100 subscribers, which is awesome. And I'm going to kind of go into the future of the channel as we hit 100 subscribers to sort of tell everyone what's worked, what hasn't worked, and what we're going to be doing more of in the future. So to kind of do that, well, first off, 100 subscribers, that's awesome, thank you. And I really appreciate it because I never thought we'd get 10 subscribers, let alone 100. So for the people that have subscribed, whether you're new, old, whatever, thanks a lot. To the people that comment and have conversations with me, also thank you. So, and there's no script or anything today, so I'm probably going to stumble over my words a little bit, but it's actually the second time I'm doing this video as well because I wore a green shirt while working with a green screen. Don't do that, I don't recommend it. So I'm smart, I swear. But yeah, so to kind of give you some idea of why we started the channel, I was actually in the gaming industry in the writing side for about 5 years, full-time for about 3. And to make a long story short, while I had so much fun in that, I made a whole bunch of contacts. I reviewed probably like 500 to 600 games in that time, indie from AAA, and made a lot of contacts, made a lot of friends, and it was amazing, but the money just isn't there. The idea of having a small, single-knit kind of website that just focuses on games is kind of gone. And with the rise of YouTube and Twitch and stuff like that, it just isn't financially viable. Advertisers don't want to work with those smaller people because they don't see as much revenue. It takes time away from them working with the other people. So it's just hard. 99% of those sites out there that start small usually fail just because of that reason. So, I had sort of taken I made the decision to step away from that when I sort of looked at financials and said, look, I'm never going to make the amount of money that I want to make to be able to even eat, stuff like that. So I just didn't want to live like that anymore. And the idea of transitioning to YouTube, which is what everyone was doing at the time, I was kind of burnt out, honestly, but at the same time, I also was like, I just don't think I'm good at video. But yeah, so here we are. Chris and I decided to start this YouTube. It was we've been talking about it for a long time, but probably about a year, a little over a year now. We decided to finally do it. He sort of wore me down, and I decided to do it, and here we are. So to sort of give a quick history so you might have also noticed that it went from podcast for gamers, platform to gamers, to now play tested, and to just give you a little bit of history on that. So podcasting is actually 100% my passion in terms of the gaming space. I absolutely love just talking and bullshitting about games. I love doing it. And so the best place to do that is a podcast. And that's actually where I started in the industry. Was I started a podcast, and it started getting some traction, and that's what transitioned to everything else. But so when there's another person I work with, Basher, and he loves podcasting as well. So we decided to start platform podcast for gamers, and the idea was going to build a network, and we were going to make it easy so that way all people really had to do was give us their okay, and then we would take their content and put it in this platform. And so we didn't do our homework, though. Always do your homework. And we thought, okay, we're going to build the service, we're going to build the website, etc. That way we can put our shows on it, and then that way we'll pitch it to people, and they'll say, yeah, definitely, like there's no reason not to. But the amount of pushback we got was crazy. I think we only had one, maybe two, but one for sure podcast that was like, yeah, sure, let's do it. Everyone else basically said, look, we've been here before, we've tried this. We saw no increase in listeners. We saw no increase in basically anything. So we decided to not do that. We're not going to do it in the future, which makes sense because if you're not getting anything out of it, people are basically just taking your content and using it and propping themselves up. So we should have asked that before, but our thinking was if we have the platform to pitch to it first, it'd be easier. So when that didn't work out, we decided to try to pivot podcast from gamers to platform for gamers, and it was basically just a more traditional review website and try to go from there. But it just, for 2 people, it was too much. Like I said, and people had already started transitioning out of that. And basically, it was backed on the fact that I still had some contacts in the industry so we could get review copies, and we did. But it was just too much for 2 people with full-time jobs, etc. So that's where Platform for Gamers came from. And now we've transitioned to Play Tested. And I promise you that's what it's going to be. That's a name that I had kicking around for a long time. If I would ever make a YouTube channel, that's what I wanted to call it, was Play Tested. So here it is now. I just like that term because I love that term, play tested, when devs are making games, etc. So that's the name of the channel. I don't think you can even change it once you have 100 subscribers, or maybe it's 1,000. I don't remember, but so it's not changing anymore. So that's just to give you an idea of how we ended up here. And so going forward, as you might notice, Chris hasn't been in a video in a while, and that's not because he doesn't want to or whatever. It's just he's got a new job, I got a new job, and getting our times to work together just it's not working out, to say the least. So we're still friends and everything, and we still see each other, play games together and stuff. But recently, like how I said, podcasting has always been my passion. Basher and I have decided to. We made a podcast called Game Pass or Pass, and we've been focusing on that lately, getting up the first 10 episodes, which we finally do. 10th episode went live the other day. So that's just a podcast to where we love Game Pass, and we love that we both have a library of games that both of us have that we can play, whether it's together, whether it's separate, and then we come together and talk about it. And so we've been focusing on getting that off the ground, and you can subscribe to that on any platform of your choice. I think it's on all of them. And so that's why videos haven't really been a thing recently. But also it was just because, like, looking at numbers and ask any YouTuber, big or small, when it comes to the YouTube algorithm, it's strange. And Google/YouTube does not make it easy for anybody on the platform to understand it or even understand how to utilize it. So when it comes to making a video, the stuff that you think is going to do well usually ends up either not doing well or doing okay, and the stuff that you don't think is going to do well ends up doing really well. Very good. And it's such a strange thing that how it works out. But so we started off, Chris and I, by doing stuff like First Time Classics, and that's something that I really enjoyed because it's a game that a lot of people play, whether it's Mega Man X, Doom, Crash Bandicoot, etc., and we're able to really riff off of each other, so that way it's exciting and interesting, but no one really watched it. We got some views here and there, but unless people are specifically looking for Crash Bandicoot stuff, it's hard to break out. So it's hard to build an audience. So that's when we started doing more industry stuff like PlayStation, Project Scarlet, Google Stadia, Nintendo. Whenever news comes out, we would try to make a video on it and just sort of give our opinion. And those do pretty well. And we got some subscribers there, so that's something that I'm going to be doing more in the future. But in the months of October, November, December, not a lot happens in the industry. Just games basically come out, and so that's why I've been taking the time to get the podcast off the ground and how I did the Doom review and stuff like that. So going forward, as more stuff in the industry is happening, we're going to do more of that, whether it's by myself or whether Chris is here or not. So look forward to that. So. And then the other aspect but you can't just do that. So then I was sort of struggling with what to do to sort of keep content coming. And that's where I sort of landed on the Gears of War video. And if you're not familiar, I did a Gears of War video that was basically ranking every game up to Gears 5, and then I did a Gears 5 review. And again, talking about reviewing games, the ranking leading up video has done about 11 times as much as the actual review has done. And that's strictly because everybody did a Gears 5 review. So it's really hard for a small YouTuber to break out in that algorithm. And that's what I'm going to continue focusing on. As much as I like reviewing games, it just nobody cares because they don't see it. I can have the best review in the world, but because of the algorithm, no one sees it. So going forward, I want to do more stuff like that. I want to do stuff that just sort of looks at franchises but celebrates them and talks about them. And so I'm extremely happy that Gears video has done so well, because I've actually picked up probably like 10% of our subscribers from that video. And it took a long time to make. It took a week just to capture all the footage, because I wanted to play through every game to make sure that my opinion was, the most current that it could be, and capturing all the footage, etc. It took a long time to make, so I'm happy that it did well, because it, putting all your time into a video and having the algorithm just destroy you it's demoralizing, and it makes you not want to do it. So thank you to everyone that's watched that video and subscribed because of that video. It definitely, it helps out a lot. So, but going forward, I want to do more stuff like that. I planned on doing a ranking of the Doom games, but with Doom being pushed to March, that video is still going to come. Actually, I'm kind of thankful in one weird way, just because I was so not ready to do all of that, because there's a lot of Doom games, and I just didn't have the time right now, so I don't have to scramble for that. But I want to do more stuff like that. I want to take more look at franchises that maybe have a sequel coming out, or maybe that get bought by somebody and they're going to talk about redoing it. And I really want to talk about those games and what makes them special. So I'm thinking about doing one for Diablo. With Diablo 4 rumors coming out, I want to do one on Diablo, and I want to capture that footage and just talk about why they were so cool and why that's one of my favorite franchises and why that's going forward. It's going to be a game I'm always going to look forward to. So, but I'm also curious what everyone that has subscribed, what you think about it. What's the reason you subscribe? Because then we can do more content like that. So that way, the stats can only tell me so much. It's the people that are watching. I'd love to know why you subscribed and what you liked about it. So that way we can do more of it, like I said. So, but that's going to be the plan going forward. Like I said, Playtested is here to stay. I am going to be focusing on that podcast as well. So, video, unfortunately, we plan on doing a video version of that podcast once we get more subscribers to the podcast. And because it actually takes quite a bit of work actually to get the video version of it going. So that time can be spent elsewhere for the time being. But eventually we will have a video version of that. And then just going forward, we're going to focus more on games and more on the industry stuff. And I think that's really what Playtested is going to be. I think that's what it's going to be, a place where people can just talk about games. It's not about console wars. It's not about, the bottom dollar, etc. It's just talking video games and having fun with it and looking at the industry and just, trying to speculate on what these companies are going to do and what games are going to come out, etc. What games are going to be good, what games are going to be bad, stuff like that. So, so let us know in the comments below. You can subscribe to that podcast at Game Pass or Pass. It's on most services, like I said. I don't think there's any that it's not on. If it is, let me know. I'll put it on there. And hopefully in the future, you enjoy all the content we have coming, like I said. And I'm looking forward to making it. And we'll see you next time.